Hi, everyone again. Now I'm seeing recording, so I want to do the greetings first. How are you guys doing? So the part one of the two webinar series. So today I'm going to focus on the how to get 100% loan forgiveness for your PPP and also recent updates on the SBA disaster loans, and especially for people who has gotten the EIDL or has gotten the EIDL or hasn't, the advance, not the advance, so there's some confusion there. I'm going to also quickly mention it, and additional fundings. If you need additional fundings that there, I'm going to mention that as well too. Again, my name is Victoria Barsha. I'm a business advisor and a financial strategist with Victory Finance Incorporated. So while listening to me, there are a lot of webinars, a lot of people talking, who to listen to. Some are confusing, some are contradictory. I am a business advisor for Silicon Valley Small Business Development Center. It's a nonprofit organization and funded by SBA and for the Silicon Valley Center, and it's funded by Silicon Valley County. Okay, and what we do is we provide free assistance. I want to mention the information. Those are all free assistance, okay, to help small local businesses. As of right now, we're going to help you navigating with the SBA disaster loans, but in general, we do a lot of regular type of loans and funding for small business owners. I get updated information relatively almost on daily basis directly from SBA and SBDC. So that cuts a lot of confusions. And also a bit about myself, I owned and managed a women's boutique store for over 15 years, and I did a manufacturing and a wholesale in addition to retail, and combine it with a finance degree. So I am familiar and have the experience both with the business operation and also the financial matters of running a successful business. And also I am on the advisory board for Industry Council for Small Business Development and ambassador for Silicon Valley Central Chamber of Commerce, and also on the Asian Affairs Business Committee with Cupertino Chamber of Commerce. As you know, that I'm pretty active with the business communities, okay, and communities and helping small business owner. So now let's get started. Before I start, actually, I need to mention the disclaimer, because as we know, the detail and the guidelines regarding the CARE Act with the SBA disaster loans, they keep on changing all the time. That's why also the confusion, right? Some you may heard something which is, can be by people that's very, in the field, or even SBA or even senators, but it was correct at that time. And now because the rules and guidelines changing, that's why I'm doing the weekly webinars in this issue, because all these changes. So this information today is only up to date as of June 1st, 2020. There might be some changes. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's going to be some changes that the new bill might be passed through the Senate and the President. So this information right now, today I'm talking about it, is only valid for June 1st. Okay, and the topic today, of course, is how to get the 100% loan forgiveness for PPP, right? So I'm going to cover the main purpose for PPP and updates, because the people kind of get confused what PPP, PPP and EIDL is EIDL, right? The differences, and some banker or some places say, oh, you can't apply for both, and different things, and it's very confusing. So I'm here to really clarify this, right? And how is it calculated for the total amount and the forgiveness? amount. And of course, it could in principle be 100% forgiven, right? How you can get the 100% forgiveness. And if you haven't filed, there's still money. So I'm going to mention the filing process, and also is important is the disbursement and process and requirement, right? That's also very important to follow that proper steps so that you will get your loan 100% forgive. And again, I mentioned earlier about the difference between the idle loan and a PPP, and whatever the updates I'm going to cover. Since a lot of people, your employee, or even if you're, even you're a business owner, you're still on EDD. And what is the impact with the PPP when on EDD once you got the PPP? So I'm going to cover that briefly as well too. And also additional fundings, how to apply online and all that. Again, just to remind you that how you can get, because the SBDC, we have centers throughout the country, over 1,000 centers, and all those systems are free. So I'm going to give you the link. So if you are not in Northern California, and you can just look it up through your area and ask for help, and all these are free to you, okay? So let's talk about PPP first. We know that first it was $349 billion, the first round funding. It's gone in a week. I'm like, whoa, what's going on, right? Then the government basically had the second round of funding, which is $320 billion. Right now, it's still available. One thing to understand about PPP is it is directly from SBA 7A lenders. So it's not all financial institution can just do PPP. So just be aware, make sure they are legit 7A lenders, or authorized by the government, the SBA, that they can issue the PPP loans, okay? And I have the list of lenders later on during the presentation. And the aim is to provide the 8 weeks payroll relief, even though that PPP will give you 2.5 months, but it is for 8 weeks of payroll, okay? And it will be forgiven if it's 75% that's used for payroll. And your business must be in operation before February 15th. So if you open a business after that, because you're prepared and everything, finally everything was ready, but it's after February 15th, then it will not apply. The interest rate is only 1%, and the term is 2 years, and it's a maximum $10 million. And there's no fee, there's no personal guarantee, collateral, and a lot of places they really don't require credit. So the forms required is there's an online form that's a PPP loan application. Now there's a new form open, and it has about 13 pages, I think, and detailing what is included and what's not. So it's a good one to take a look at it if you need to, but usually when you apply online, usually the bank will give you some kind of online form, okay? So maybe you don't need that loan application. What you do need is the form 4941, and for the past 4 quarters. And although some of the loan, the lender just want your first quarter from 2020. So you can do that as well too. And W-2s, all your W-2 earners, it's like a W-3 for basically all your employees that are on W-2, and the independent contract doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't count. And if you are sole proprietors, if you have 1099 or Schedule C, actually they will look at your Schedule C. Line 31 is what they're going to focus on. And again, the purpose is for maintaining their payroll. That's why it's called paycheck protection program, right? So we want to make sure that this is used for that, mainly for that purpose, although there's 25% you can use for rent and utilities, but the main reason is for payroll. So if you already have applied, basically you really need to be proactive and call the bank, your lenders or credit union, wherever you applied, and make sure that you got the E-Tran number, because they're just overwhelmed with application. Maybe your amount is not a big amount and it's being delayed because there's a rule that after certain days, if you didn't, get the numbers, like the document signed or agreed or something, then the money goes away, right? So, but meanwhile, maybe you still have that number. You sort of, oh, I didn't get it. And the E-Tran number is basically the number SBA gives the lender for your loan. Okay, that's what that E-Tran number means. And then you cannot apply from other people because you got delayed and rejected, and you didn't even know why, because that's why the E-Tran, you had an E-Tran number, but your lender may have not gotten back to you in a hurry. Okay, so if you haven't applied, as we know that they still, it's not a bit M, it's a billion, 100 billion. Okay, it's not an M here. So there's still over $100 billion still available for the PPP. You can type in the your zip code by going to the website, first going to the website, the sba.gov/paycheck protection/fund. And once you get there and type your zip code, you will find 7A lenders. And also just to save your time, and also again, this may change because the lender may be out of fund. When they, a lot of people, you talk to your lender, your bank or credit union or whatever, then they will say, oh yeah, we don't have any PPP fund. We ran out of PPP money. So it doesn't mean that you can apply. They're just, you can apply through them because they have matched their quota and limit. So there are a lot of the other ones. There's the lenderstreet.com and fundingcircle.com and opportunityfund.org. As I say, again, they might be out of fund as well too. So you kind of have to double check. And then there's also another section. Those are usually not the 7A lenders, but they are approved by SBA for the PPP, loaning the PPP, okay? So that's a big list. I know that Blue Vine Capital is pretty good. I heard SBDC people was kind of suggesting that one, so that one. But also you can see there's Intuit, there's Cabbage, there's again Opportunity Fund too, and there's also Squares. There's we know the PayPal's, right? All those are like the number we know, we kind of, the names we heard quite often, but they are a lot of the businesses that does the PPP loan lending already, lending right now. So if you do need that information, just please email me and I can send you these, okay? One thing about calculation for PPP is a little bit different for the sole proprietor and K1 is in terms of calculation forgiveness. The calculation is basically based on the Schedule C, line 31, and also the K is, there's a K1, and I think it's the box 14. So you take that amount. So that also means if you're self-employed and if you not make money last year, and that means you will not get the PPP money if you don't have payroll, right? If you have the W-2 owner, it's different because it's based on the calculation of the payroll 941 and the W-2s. But if you don't have payroll and you're self-employed and your Schedule C is not showing much of money, like, losing money or $1,000 or less, right? So then it's not worthwhile for you to do the Paycheck Protection Program. If you do still have quite a bit of expenses, you're better off, doing the idle loan. If you already applied, if you haven't applied, and there's some other loans you can do as well too. Okay, so it's the loan amount divided by 12 and times 2.5. But the forgiveness, just that the forgiveness is the half. You don't get that half, right? So it's only basically a forgiveness is basically 931. I'm talking about sole proprietor, like K1 is like box 14, right? Divide by 52, so give you a weekly number, and times 8. So that's the amount it will be forgiven, not the 2.5 amount, okay? Even though you will be eligible for 2.5. So that's one thing is different. I'm not going to go through for the time purpose. Let me see, it's 3:18. I do want to leave about 20 minutes for any Q&A. So if you have any Q&A, you can type in the box, okay, for the Q&A section, okay? And actually, let me give you some contact information for the, my website and registrations link, okay? So if you guys need it, you can copy and paste this information to a note, a Word, okay? And so I'm not gonna go too detail in this, but just quickly. So payroll, not only just the payroll, but like the pay, right? Weekly pay, but it's also overtime bonus and reimbursement and tips, the vacation pay, and so different things. Is still including the group insurance, for health insurance as well too. So of course, if you're self-employed, you won't have that part. What's not included is the independent contractors. So like I have independent contractors in my business, so I would not qualify for that, right? And also everything is capped on 100,000 or under. So if it's more than that, it's not eligible. Okay. So there's also, there are people that has there's another program, like if your family is sick, so this is not the ones that's for the Family Act, because you will be able to get a different tax credit for those payroll, okay? So it's not part of the payroll protection calculation. It's the Family First Corona Act. Response Act. So if you're sick or your family is sick, it's covered under that. And the employee will be able to get the money, but forgiven, get tax credit for that, but not through the PPP, just so you know. And so there's the other ones. So the several important factors. One is, as of now, we have the talk, but some other talk, but this actually changed a little bit. So I'm going to update. So your day, basically, your first day counts as the day when they deposit the money into your account for the next 8 weeks payroll period. But the new update is basically for your first, for your employees, your payroll. When you pay your payroll every other week, basically from the first next payroll period. So it doesn't have to be that day, but they will count, this way. But on the other hand, say if you pay your employee, not every week, but every other week, so that, people usually pay on Friday, right? So that Friday, not this week Friday, but next week. So that's okay too. Then you count that next 8 weeks, okay? And it's regardless if your business open or not. And because you will say like, well, right now my business not open, or, my business open, but I have so little business. I really don't need that many people working, I know. But the rule for this PPP is it's regardless of that. okay? And also you need to maintain the same amount of payroll, like the amount of money you spend, and also the same amount of head counts, okay? So prior to February 15th. So that's the one important factor for the 100% loan forgiveness, right? And the other one is funding. 75% has to be for the payroll, okay? And the other 25% can be for rent and utilities. Now I have to mention the Congress has passed the new bill. Like they basically they are proposing instead of 75%, it's going to be 60%. Instead of the 8 weeks, they proposed for the 24 weeks, but Senate is saying that it hasn't passed by Senate yet, right? The Senate was saying, oh, maybe 16 weeks. Okay, so there's still that differences. And also there's another thing about that new bill is the terms of the loan. How long is the term? Right now it's 2 years, but they were talking about extending it maybe to 5 years. So, but it's not, if it's not in the law, it doesn't count. As of right now, if you already have PPP, you need to follow the new update on the May 20th. That was the newer one, right? But if you're even before that, you follow whatever it's before, and the May 20th, that's when the new update came up. And then there's some, more rules, like in terms of utility, you can have the utility that's more than just gas and electricity. Can include like the phone bills, the internet, and then some kind of other utilities. They are still trying to define it, right? So basically those things. And also if you are EDD, or your employees are EDD, and because of this additional $600 a month, right? So it makes it really not appealing for coming back. That when you get your PPP, you're required to offer your employees the job back, but they don't need to worry too much, and you don't need to worry too much is after that 8 weeks, because basically all they need to do is they don't lose the benefit, right? It just for that next 8 weeks, what you would do is basically put amount money, you got paid, right? And then you will not get the EDD for that 8 weeks. But say if your business is still slow, you will need not full-time, but only part-time or whatever, they can still get the partial EDD. Or if that person, you really don't need that person, really the business is much slower, right? With the social distancing, and you have less customers as well too. So they can go back to their EDD, okay? So they don't lose the benefit. It's just that 8 weeks, they won't get paid for that, okay? And that's that CARES Act, the PUA, right? Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, that $600 additional per week, right? So it's good till July 31st, March 29th to July 31st. So that's the money I was talking about. And if you haven't applied, if you're self-employed or you're just a single person business owner, and if you haven't got the PPP money, even if you get the PPP money, still just for the next 8 weeks, right? You can still apply, you will be eligible. So it's still worthwhile to apply. And here is the link there as well too for the pandemic assistance. It's edd.ca.gov. And then once you get on that website, you should be able to find that, okay? And accounting, very important, right? Especially, even if it's not forgiving, it's important too, because it is a loan that they are going to see how you use it. But for 100% forgiveness, you definitely need to create such a detailed documentation for all your PPP transactions. One suggestion is using the Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheet, or if you are not into computer, even just handwriting accounting journal, you have to document all the transactions, that's eligible for the EDD forgiveness, or I'm sorry, the PPP, right? That's a forgiveness part, right? And then also you need to save all the receipts. So I said I archive all the relevant receipt and isolate relevant expenses. What do I mean by that? Say you have a credit card. That credit card has the different business expenses, right? Say you put the utility also on credit card, you did pay on this or whatever. So you want to isolate the credit card charges, that the only part that's PPP related would be that. And you can maybe, even pay your credit card several times, like for instance, for the PPP, you can pay the credit card interest, right? That part it can be forgiven on the 25% of that interest part, right? So that part, you want to write the interest part on that, and then pay again, maybe another transaction if you want to pay the remaining balance more or whatever, but it just can be from this PPP accounting, okay? And also, archive, you could take a photo of these receipts, because some of the receipt will fade with this thermal printing, right? And some you can just use the scanner. There's a called Genius Scan. I think it's free. You can just keep on adding each one. Then you'll have a big file of a PDF file. I'm not related, I have no affiliation, okay? I'm just, just a quick thinking about this scan app, right? There are a lot of scan apps there, but it's just this way you'll have one big PDF file rather than each in pictures, right? You have to combine all the photos. Okay, so, but that's very important for all the receipts you need to keep. And one quicker way maybe is just to open a separate checking account that's dedicated for PPP use only. So when you need to, they say show the proof, show the, transaction, the statement, then you can just give that account. So it's not commingled with your other business expenses. And also that's easy, because a lot of like credit card online, you can just pay specific amount and underneath the memo and say what it is for, right? So that way it's easy to keep track of your expenditures, okay? So that's very important to get that PPP to be 100% forgiven, okay? Now let's quickly talk about the SBA's, the EIDL, right? Because now with additional funding available, even though the portal is closed, but they are processing the original loans. The interest for profit is 3.75, and nonprofit organizations 2.75. Now PPP is actually only used for business for profit, where this you can have business that's for nonprofit organization. Okay, and the term loan amount is the we don't know. It basically, it's up to the SBA to decide what amount they will give you when you fill out the expense and everything. Okay, so we don't know what's the loan amount, but the maximum is $2 million, and it's for 30 years. Okay, and so these are the checklists, but they're changing. So a lot of you may think you have not gotten the idle advance money, and look at your bank account, because they're not really going to email you or notify you. It just magically showing up that advance money in your bank account. It will look like SBAD, TREZ, then 310 mixed pay. Okay, so it's going to be start with a SBA disaster loan, basically SBAD. Okay, so it would be basically the people who has filed after March 29th, when you went to the COVID relief, .gov/ the whatever link at that time. And there's a box there, and I heard some people forgot to check the box, therefore you did not get the advance money. So there's a box there, say I need advance money. So that box, if you already gotten the PPP, it's maybe not as crucial, because once you get advance, you're supposed to deduct that for the forgiveness amount through the PPP, okay? But if you haven't, or if you say, I still want that advance money and I don't mind under PPP pay the 1%, right? So you can do that as well too, because this advance money is more flexible how you can use it. With PPP, it's mostly used for payroll, where this can be operational expenses for this advance money, which you don't have to pay back, right? So if you want to do that, you need to basically go to the SBA, the email and calling them. I know it's kind of frustrating because some people don't reply back. And let me know if especially if you're in Northern California, I may be able to expedite it through the SBA Northern California branch in that way, rather than going to the Washington. Okay, so that's the advance money, okay? And as far as for loans, they are still processing, and if your number starts with 3600, you should be already heard from them in one way or another, or you're getting the advance money already, okay? And I've been helping some of the business owners, because maybe when you fill the online form, whatever you put in at that time, you didn't realize, and it was not correct, because it was somewhat confusing between cost of goods and operational cost. So some people got confused and didn't put in the right amount of number, and then it caused rejection or something like that. And we can definitely, there's appeal, we can appeal for the SBA loans, and also there are additional funding sources available as well too. So even if you can't get the disaster loan, there's still other additional fundings. But on the other hand, this is a great, like 3.75 is 30 years. So definitely it's worthwhile to appeal to see, if maybe there's something you didn't fill out correctly, or maybe they misunderstood you, right? So for so to get the loan, and for advance amount, it's basically by the employee head counts. If you're self-employed, they will give you $1,000. Each employee, they'll give you $1,000 up to $10,000 maximum. Okay, that's the loan forgiveness amount. And here I have the SBA disaster loans email, and also you can call 800-659-2955. And if you have something more specific questions, ask them for the level 2 helpers, because the level 1, the people who answer phone, they will just give you some general questions, general answers, but nothing specific to your loan. A lot of them, I'm just like, can I give you my the SBA loan number? They were like, oh, no need. Why? Because they are not the one who will go into your account. So if you have something urgent or specific, please ask for the level 2 person. Even though the 800 number is supposed to be 24 hours, but it's better call during the business hour if you need to talk to a level 2 person. Okay, so that's a little bit of a trick there. And also to find the SBDC local assistant, and the link is sba.gov/local-assistance fund and slash fund. That's the small business development centers, which are partially funded by SBA, and we offer free assistance and support. And sometimes you have questions, you don't know where to ask, and it's good to get that as well too. And of course, for the people who is on webinar already, just if you have any question regarding where you are, just ask me and I can help you on that, okay? So these kind of assistance is 100% free, okay? So don't worry about, oh, how much I have to pay. No, there's no pay on that. Okay, so that's that. But if you want to have more in-depth help, just go to that website, sba.gov website, and then type in your zip code and you pull down menu, you can pull down SBDC, because there are also other ones, and I'm sure they also offer excellent help as well too. Some other free assistance program through SBA as well, okay? Here are just the differences. I know you guys already know, so I'm gonna fast forward it, so we'll save some time for Q&As, okay? These are the other support. So if you are in California, if you're in state of California, state California have the sales tax deferment and use tax deferment. It's good to know because it's basically for 12 months, you can defer the tax and up to $50,000. So that's gonna help, right? And also if you are not qualified for SBA and and disaster loan, the EIDL, PPP, then there's also California state has the iBank microloans to help the people who didn't qualify. And SBA now is starting to talk more about the express bridge loans, okay? Still, we are trying to find lenders. They are busy with the PPP loan right now. So the bridge loan is kind of being put the back burner. And also, it's important to know that SBA is still doing the regular SBA loans, okay? And one nice thing about it is they're going to pay the interest and payment and fees, because if it's a new one, the old ones, that if you already have SBA's existing loans, basically they'll pay the interest and principal for 6 months, right? But say you don't have it, but you want to apply SBA loan, right? And now you can do that, and the deadline is before September 27th, 2020. Now you can get the interest, principal, and also fee are waived for the 6 months as well too, right? But my one suggestion is, if you are in the process of getting the EIDL loan approved, or you already applied, I would say do that first, because EIDL loan is lower in interest rate and higher in terms of how long, this is not being 30 year, right? That's a 30-year loan. So it will be, I would say EIDL loan will be a better deal. But on the other hand, this does have the 6 months, principal, interest, and fee waived, right? But why I'm saying apply the EIDL loan first is because in the one section of EIDL loan, it says that it basically you're applying the loan because you don't have first of all, it's disaster loan, right? So you're impacted with the COVID-19, which every business is right now. But second is you don't have the additional funding to basically to support it. So basically that's the two reasons, right? So if you already applied the SBA loan, now it's going to, you will not qualify for the EIDL loan. So that's just the sequence. But on the other hand, you say, I don't need an EIDL loan, I just want an SBA loan and I want to get that 6 months free. Definitely you can do that, okay? And so the iBank, the micro loan is pretty easy and fast, because it's there's a $50 million fund there, but the loans are small. It's up to $50,000. Usually it's just a few thousand to tens of thousands of dollars for really small businesses as well too. But they also have a state guaranteed program loan that's up to $1 million. the California state is going to guarantee for up to 95%. That also makes makes it easy for you to get the loan approved. Okay, the microloan is basically ibank.ca.gov, and again, the Small Business Development Center will also offer free support for helping you to get that loan. But this is for state of California. I'm sure the other state may have other program, but this ibank.ca, that's California, okay, .gov, is for California states. The thing about the eligibility is you have to actually the opposite. You have to disqualify for the EIDL and PPP due to credit issue. If you have the bad credit, if you don't have a Social Security, but you pay tax, your business have you have a tax ID, right? But you don't have Social Security, or it's a nonprofit, or you don't have the payroll, or maybe you're delinquent on even a student loan, right? Some kind of federal loan. Now you'll be able to be eligible to apply. Okay, so that's the iBank loan for the state of California. Okay, so that's a good resource for state of California. Now, the first is the iBank. So now also to mention is there are a lot of fundings, grants. I'm talking about grants and fundings available through your city, through your counties, through businesses. There's the link here for multi-state program. It's www.uschamberfoundation.org. And basically they have the financial assistance for small businesses. I know Facebook did, and Google has some, and there are just so many different programs. Right now I'm helping the Sunnyvale, city of Sunnyvale. And before it was city of Santa Clara County, right? They all have like anywhere from 5 to 10 grant money, some till 15,000, right? So it's a small amount of money, but it's a grant. You don't have to pay back. So that's really a good resource for you, and maybe you'll be qualified for multiple. Imagine if you can get a city one, and then you go to, like, say Facebook or Google or whatever it is, right? You get several. That's really pretty good finance resources right now, right, for you. So that's a good resource as well too. And of course, right now the EIDL loan, the portal is open, but it's only open for agriculture and businesses. And also, if you have applied before, like your number starts with 2, it's prior to March 29th. And so it's the old ones you can also reapply, but they are going to combine your number. They're going to take your older number as in the queue. Okay, so that would work as well too. And of course, if for 7A, the PPP, so you just go to the 7A lenders, just type in your zip code or email me, and I can give you that list as well too. Okay, and for the local free assistance through the SBDC, Small Business Development Center link is www.sba.gov/local-assistance/find, and type your zip code and then just select SBDC. Okay, you'll find it in the government site. Okay, and contact me regarding any questions about the SBA disaster loans, because I'm so involved every day with the new information, everything. So I think, a question I maybe just be able to answer you in few minutes. Okay, where if you need to search online everywhere, it's going to be, taking you a long time, right? Again, my name is Victoria Brasha. My phone number is 650-382-1118. And you can also email me at info@victoryfinanceinc.com. And my website is victoryfinanceinc.com. And from that website, and actually put in the chat is there's a link, or you can just opt in. There's a lot of SBA related resource and resource and information links. And one thing also there is the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and video in there. It's basically a step-by-step talking about the updated PPP. You know, we know that right now the May 20th is when the updated PPP, the new guidelines and how to fill out, how to calculate. So I have that recording on that website as well too, okay, with that link. And also you can always book a free appointment if you feel like your question requires a little bit more detailed talk, not just you know, a quick Q&A. You can definitely book an appointment with me. And it's on my website as well too. And also I text you guys in the chat. Oh, I'll text again, because sometimes if people come in late, they don't see the early chat. So I'm going to text the chat again, just for people who come in late. Then they might not see the chat. That's the one thing about webinar and Zoom meeting. I found, like, if I came in late and if people put information there, actually I don't see it. So that's why I'm at the beginning, I'm like, why so many people put multiple, you know, same link there? Then that's when I realized, oh, okay, because if you come in later, you actually don't see it in the beginning. Okay, so now my weekly webinar, the two-part webinar. So the Tuesday is mostly going to be related to the PPP, SBA loans or new updates. And now, you know, we know that the Congress passed it now. The bill is in the Senate, right? So Senate has passed it, any adjustment, amendment, and then goes to the president. So that bill, hopefully this week, because it got passed last week, hopefully this week, you know, the Senate can pass. And now next week, I'm going to give you guys a new update. So every week, it's Tuesday, it's important to get the updates, you know, by attending my webinar. I know some more may be repeating information because a lot of people are new attendees, and also I have it on the Facebook Live, right? So I don't know, like the people, some you might feel it's repeat, but there are also nugget of good information, additional information, updates may be good to attend anyway and get those information, okay? And so that's the Tuesdays and 3 p.m. But Thursdays, what I'm going to do is it's going to be more specific for business owners, as we are, you know, the shelter in place has been lifted and we're reopening the business, right? And we know the business is not going to be the same, you know, COVID-19, after COVID-19 is not going to be the same. It's the COVID-19 era, right? So how you can adapt and pivot business and how, you know, so there's going to be a lot of those kind of information. I go into detail with that. And what also it will include is the steps and checklists on the Thursday webinars. And each Thursday, I'm going to give you a quick view of the 3 key areas. But then each week, I'm going to focus on one area, okay? So that you guys, whether it's the money part, money matter, whether it's the business operation and sales and marketing. So it's not just that I just have it published for the first 2 weeks of the June, but I'm going to do it for the whole month, because the next two weeks, the last 2 weeks of June, I'm going to focus more on the sales and the marketing. Okay, so because that's a big topic right now, and a lot of adjustment the business have to make. So it's going to be that for the next last 2 weeks. So just register. I text you for the people who is on the webinar, like with the webinar, the chat. So if you copy, you can register again. For the Facebook people, I'm going to probably post it on the, so that you can have it. But right now it's Facebook stream live, so I don't know if you guys can get the chat. Okay, so what I will do is basically help you to create and execute plan to keep your business going, and teach and provide you some tools to help your business in that three key areas: money matters, and business operation, and sales and marketing. So those are the Thursday's webinar, and you can just register right now with that link in the chat. And also I want to quickly mention that we also have do it for you services, because we know that, you know, managing a business, running a business is a lot of work, right? And you may be good at certain area, and also, as I say, the business operation before COVID and now it's different, right? So you may have to adapt and pivot, and there's some area you may be not as strong. So what we are doing is help you to, you know, do your for you service. So this service is for a fee, okay? It's not part of the Small Business Development Center. That's our company, Victory Finance Inc., right? We have the do it for you service. It's to help you create and execute business planning, provide you tool with and templates specific to your business to keep for your business sales and projections, spreadsheet to keep tracking via PPP spending, developing new sales and marketing strategies, and social media setup and marketing or management, shall we say. You know, a lot of people, they will post something, but they don't have the business pages set up. They don't have the Google business set up, right? So a lot of those need set up and then need to be constantly like posted, right? So those kind of things, not constantly, I would say more in a regular basis. In consistency is more of the, it was more of the key, right? And also for people who, you know, have their website or never had their website, they didn't need a website. Now they need a website, right? So the website, and also revamp your website in a sense to reflect what you do now, right? So all these are available, and you can basically pick and choose whatever area you need help. You know, you don't have to get the whole thing, right? Some business they may need the whole thing, but it's really a la carte. Whatever help you need, we're here to help you, and our price is very reasonable, just because I want to help small business owners. And being a small business owner, I know how important but yet difficult it is, right, to run the business. So so that's why it's going to be very reasonable in terms of money wise and the expenses wise. Okay, so contact me if you have any questions, and also you can just book a free appointment. So I have a calendar link. It's called calendly.com/victoryfinance/15 minutes, right? So you can basically pick a time. I went up and looked at basically Wednesdays. I'm pretty open for that. And Thursday, usually it's blocked. And then there are some other days you can just pick the time available, okay, you need. Let me quickly look at any Q&As. If you guys have any questions you have, you can put in the Q&A sections. And okay, and of course, I know that I tend to answer quite a bit of question during my presentation, because I know that a lot of people ask those questions, and then I kind of know like what question people have, and then I try to address it during my presentation. So I don't see Q&As. I see people are still here. And we have about a few more minutes. So let me just stop sharing. And okay. So you guys can see me. It's warm here today. Anyway, I hope you guys are okay. And I know there's a lot of unsettling events happening, and it's really, adding more stress to small business owners. But I think with enough planning and enough, I would say, tenacity in a way, we're going to pass this temporary setback. We're going to be okay, and we're in this together. Okay, so I'm here. I want to help, and in any way I can. And also, if you guys have any information, any questions, don't, just reach out to me. The most of the information I have, I gave to you. There's no charge or anything on that. So just know that there is help. There's additional resources, and that can help your business. Okay, and I hope that you guys are going to be okay. Take care and stay safe and stay healthy as well too. And thank you for attending my webinar. And I'll see you this Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Take care. Bye.